Hey guys, welcome back to Kiwi Classics and Customs. Now, a lot of you that watched my videos have probably seen this car over in the corner. Now, we've had a little bit of a switch around because we've been doing quite a bit of work on this old girl. So I wanted to, basically, we haven't really done much in the way of videos on this car, but I wanted to go through and show you what we've been doing for the last quite a while. So yeah, here it is, 68 red Fastback, formerly a 289 4-speed car. So now we've Kiwiized it. So starting in here, 427 FE out to 482 cubic inches. It's making deep into the 500s in horsepower. So there's that to start with. We've gone with the TCI front suspension, you know, the Mustang 2 based suspension, but all the TCA power rack and pinion, twin A-arms, all that kind of stuff. Now, one of the problems with fitting, obviously all the shock towers have gone, one of the troubles with fitting these big blocks in, and I know they go the 390s, which is the same exterior dimensions as this engine, you know, went into these cars with some modified strut towers. It wasn't a big deal, but with the rack and pinion in the front, you run into problems with the oil pan, and this will go in with you know, without a lot of modifications, but the engine ends up very far forward and you don't have room for a decent sized radiator, some fans and a good front drive. So what we ended up doing was moving it back 5 inches. And as you can see, it's tucked it up very close to the firewall, but you know, we have clearance. On the TCI mounts, the engine really doesn't move, you know, very, you know, like an 1/8, quarter of an inch max. It doesn't rock and roll around, it barely moves. So we don't need a lot of clearance. We've modified the tunnel and the bell housing area so we can still access that stuff, because you can't just jam it back in the hole and expect to be able to get the bell housing off. So a lot of that's been modified. We took the hump out of the firewall here, so that bought us 2 inches here. So yeah, it's come together nice. We've got a nice big pretty aluminum radiator. We had to go with a remote oil filter down here because the rack and pinion, where the steering column goes down to it, is right where the oil filter wants to be, so you have to do a remote oil filter mount. Obviously there's no room for a brake booster. We've got Willwood brakes that we've installed on it, hydraulic clutch with the reservoir here. The Willwood Master is very close to the valve cover, but it does miss. Trust me, it does. We got about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch there, and the engine really just doesn't move, so that's enough. But yeah, it really is a shoehorn exercise trying to get it in there, but we've done it. So yeah, that's really the engine bay. We're going to have to modify the hood to get the hood to close with the air cleaner on. It will kind of drop down now, but once you put the air cleaner on, we don't have clearance, so we're going to do some hood mods, which will probably bring that to you in another video. And yeah, so let's get it up in the air and we'll show you what's been going on underneath. Right. All right, here we go, up in the air. Right, let's kind of come in here. Here's your TCI front suspension. We did have to slide the rack forward a little because normally the oil pan, you know, the oil pan has to either go over the rack or behind the rack. So we brought this forward a bit. We moved the engine back 5 inches, and yeah, it all works. We take a little notch out of the oil pan, so it's snug here, but again, everything's tight, but it works. It works well. So yeah, we've got the Canton oil pan on it. We've obviously got the big Willwood 13-inch rotors on it, 6-piston calipers, aluminum hubs, so it's all very nice. We've got AC in it, we've got the lines kind of hidden under the wheel arches there, so they're not kind of making the engine bay ugly. Moving on, we've got the QuickTime steel scatter shield bell housing, which is nice. American Powertrain supplied us a TKX 5-speed transmission. So what else has been going on? We've got some nice headers on it, 2.5-inch MagnaFlow exhaust system. We used the original transmission cross member and moved the original, you know, the upper mount backwards, so that, you know, we get to use the original cross member and a stock rubber mount, and that takes a lot of the harshness out of the driveline. A lot of people use the polyurethane transmission mounts, which are good and they're strong, but they do give you a bit of harshness. So I quite like using a nice fresh new rubber factory mount. We got the Wilwood e-brake set up here, which is all kind of custom. Here you can see that these are the subframe connectors, and I make these in-house, and they run right along, come right back and attach to the rear chassis rail. It's all boxed in here, and these actually slide right up inside, all the way up inside this floor extension, they call it, a rail extension, and come right up and finish about here, and they're welded all the way through, and it keeps the ground clearance nice. I don't like these subframe connectors where they hang down and you lose 2 or 3 inches of ground clearance. This is a 2x2 box section, and it's here, it doesn't matter, it's hanging down through the floor, but here it's cut up through the floor. So the passengers, that's in the rear passenger area, so it doesn't really create a negative impact on the inside, I don't believe anyway. Precision Shaft Technologies knocked up a drive shaft for us, so that's big universals, 3-inch tube. 8 and 9-inch Fords.com did us a True Track 9-inch 350 ratio. They did all the housing, all that kind of stuff. We've got the Heights 4-link in the rear, so this is all nice, it's all adjustable, and load doesn't come into the car, so it doesn't spoil your rear seat. You can still have your fold down rear seat in the back, which is a nice feature on the Mustangs. We got the nice all adjustable coilovers all around, adjustable dampening, so you got adjustable height coils, and there's also adjustable dampening. Here's your panhard bar going across. That's all part of the Heights kit. That's all really nice. We've also got the same on the back, the big rotors. And now these are actually a 4-piston caliper, but they're in the same body as the 6-piston. They drop it back to a 4 because you just don't need as much braking on the rear. Yeah, 8 and 9-inch Ford rears. These guys are really good. I use them all the time, and they just never ever miss. So it's handy to have a company like that in your back pocket. It really is. If you need anything Ford, and that's all they do is 8 and 9-inch. They don't do any 8.8 stuff. It's just 8 and 9-inch. So yeah, any of the small block Mustangs we build, we put an 8-inch in. Big blocks, obviously, got to have a 9-inch. So yeah, that's it. It's come up really nice underneath. It's very clean. Everything is a place for everything, and everything in its place. Underneath. It's I'm pretty happy with it. It's come up nice. So what we're going to do now is actually get it back on the ground, put the wheels on it, and we should. The thing run, we had it running briefly the other day, so we've got all the hydraulics working now, the brakes, we've bled the clutch. So we should actually be able to drive it outside and get a view of it outside. We're not surrounded by other stuff, and get a look and see how the stance is looking, because stance is everything, as I'm sure you guys would agree. So yeah, we're gonna wheels on outside, and we'll be back on looking at it outside. We got brakes, that's good. Okay, well, we do have a quick release steering wheel. Not really, but you know what I mean. We also have the quick release seat as well. As you can tell, we've still got all the interior to do. Dakota digital gauges going in, and you know, re-sound deadening, new carpets, all that fun stuff. So that's what's going on in there, but that's the next stage of the project. As far as how it looks, the wheels look great on it, and they're just the right sizes. 17 by, I can't remember now, 1710s on the back, 17.8s on the front, 275s and 245s. And they're a drag radial, so they're going to have plenty of grip, which it'll need. But no, the stance is pretty good. Might need to come up a little in the rear, but we need to put a couple of miles on it before we you know, try and let the things settle in. I mean, that literally from the hoist to here is the longest drive it's been on in quite a while. But the engine starts, the engine sounds good, you heard it. Yeah, we just got to get the interior with the gauges in so we can monitor our temps and all that kind of stuff, the sort of stuff you need to do. And we'll come back with another video of, you know, how the interior looks and its ultimate test drive. So yeah, but I'm pretty happy with that. It looks nice. You can't smell it through the camera, but there's that lots of new stuff's getting warm, stuff's burning off, you know, oily handprints on exhaust systems and stuff like that. So it's a cool smell. I mean, if you like that kind of thing, I guess. But yeah, I think the customer's going to be very happy with that. The Willwood, the red calipers just pop out between the spokes of those wheels. It's the American Racing Shelby style wheel. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Now, it's been a long road, but we're here. We're almost here. The finish line is in sight. Matt, hang on, mate. We'll have you on the road real soon. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap. We've got a couple of cars to shuffle around. This will be going back inside off the hoist so we can get on the interior. And yeah, in the meantime, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on the next video.